हेलो दोस्तों, एस के आई चैनल में आप सभी का स्वागत है। कृपया मेरे चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए और हाँ, सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।
Social Science, Class 6th, Chapter 2, Diversity and Discrimination. In the previous chapter, you have discussed the meaning of diversity. Sometimes people who are different from others are teased and laughed at or not included in a certain activity or a group. We feel hurt, angry, helpless, and sad even friends or others treat us in such a way. Have you ever wondered why this happens? In this chapter, we will try and explore how experiences are related to the society we live in. We will look how they are connected to the inequalities that exist around us, are different and prejudiced. There are many things that make us what we are, how we live, the language we speak, what we eat, wear, the games we play, the things we celebrate. All these are influenced both by geography and history of the place where we lived. How you will get an idea of how diverse India is if you look even briefly at the following statement. There are 8 major religions in the world. Every single one of them is practiced in India. We have more than 1600 languages. That are people's mother language, and there are more than 100 dance forms. Yet the diversity is not always celebrated. This is because we felt safe and secure with people who look, talk, dress, and think like us. Sometimes when we meet people who are very different from us, we may find them strange and unfamiliar. At times we may not understand or know the reasons why they are different from us. People also form certain attitudes and opinions about others who are not like them. Look at the statement below that you believe to be true about rural and urban life in India. Tick mark those that you agree with. Do you have a prejudice against rural or urban people? Find out if this is shared by others and discuss the reasons why people have this prejudice. Can you list some of the prejudice that you have noticed around you? How do they affect the way in which people treat each other? Our rural people, more than 50% of Indians live in villages. Villagers do not care about their health. They are full of superstitions. People in villages are backward and do not like to use modern agriculture technology. In peak harvesting and plantation seasons, families spend 12 to 14 hours working in the fields. Villages are forced to migrate to cities in search of work. Life in the cities is easy. People here are exploited and lazy. In cities, families spend very little time with each other. People in the cities only care about money, not about people. Living in a city is expensive. A large part of the people earning is spent on rent and transport. City people cannot be trusted. They are cunning and corrupt. Some of these statements are sees villagers as ignorant and superstition, and see people in cities as money-minded, lazy, cunning. When our opinions about certain people are always negative, seeing them as lazy, cunning, and stingy are some of these statements, then this become prejudice that we carry about them. Prejudice means to judge others people negatively or see them as inferior. When we think that only one particular way is the best and right way to do things, we often end up not respecting others who may prefer to do things differently. For example, if we think English is the best language and other languages are not important, we are judging this other language negatively. As result, we might not respect people who speak language other than English. We can be prejudiced about many things: people, religion, beliefs, the color of their skin, region they come from, the accent they speak in, the color they wear extra. Often our prejudice about others are so strong that we don't want to form friendship with them. At times, we may even act in ways that hurt them, creating stereotypes. All of us familiar with the gender difference. What does it mean to be a boy or girl? Many of you would say, we are born as boy and girl. It is given. What is there to think about? Let's see if this is in the case. Arrange the statement given below in these two sections according to what you think is appropriate for this section. They are well behaved, they are soft spoken and gentle, they are physically strong, they are naughty, they are good at dance and painting, they don't cry, they are rowdy, they are good at sport, they are good at cooking, they are emotional. If we take the statement, they don't cry, you will see that this is a quality. This is generally associated with boys and men. As babies or children, when boys fall, hurt themselves, their parents and other family members often console them by saying, "Don't cry, you are a boy." And brave, and are brave, don't cry. The children grow up, they start believing that boys do not cry, so they even if a boy feels like crying, he stops himself from doing so. He also believes that crying is a sign of weaknesses. So even though both boys and girls sometimes want to cry, especially if they are angry or in or in pain. As they grow older, boys learn or teach themselves not to cry. If a boy cries, then he feels that others will either tease him or laugh at him, so he stops himself from doing so in front of others. This is the way boys are, and this is how girls are. This are statement we hear constantly, accept without even thinking. We start believing that each one of us must have behave accordingly. We fit all boys and all girls into image that society creates around us. You can take other statements such as they are soft and gentle, they are well behaved. Discuss how these are applied to girls. Do girls possess these qualities at birth, or do they learn such behavior from others? What do you think about girls who are not soft and gentle? Those who are naughty? We mix people into one image, we create stereotype. When people say that those who belong to a particular country, region, sex, race, or economic background are stingy, lazy, criminal, or dumb, they are using stereotypes. There are stingy or generous people everywhere, in every country, in every religion, in every group, whether rich or poor, male or female. And just because some people are like that, is not fair to think that everyone will be the same. Stereotypes stop us from looking at each person as a unique individual with his or her special qualities and skills that are different from orders that fit large number of people into only one pattern or type. Stereotypes affect all of us. They prevent us from doing certain things that we might otherwise be good at. Inequality or discrimination. Discrimination happens when people act as the prejudice or stereotypes. If you do something to put other people down, if you stop from taking part in certain activities and taking up jobs, or stop them from living in certain neighborhoods, prevent them from taking water from same well as or hand pump, or not allow them to drink tea in the same cups or glasses as others, you are the discriminating against them. Discrimination can take place because of several reasons. You probably recall from previous chapter that Samir Ek and Samir Do were different from each other in many ways. For example, they belong to different religion. This is aspect of diversity. However, this diversity can also be a source of discrimination. Groups of people who may speak certain language, follow a particular religion, lives in a specific region, etc. may be discriminated against as their customs or practices may be seen as inferior. Another difference between the two Samirs was in their economic backgrounds. Samir though was poor. This difference, as from you have read earlier, is not a form of diversity but of inequality. People who are poor do not have the resources or money to meet the basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. They experience discrimination in offices, in hospitals, schools, etc., where they are treated badly because they are poor. Some people may experience both kinds of discrimination. There are poor people, poor, and they belong to groups whose culture is not valued. Tribals, some religion groups, or even particular religion are discriminated against for one or more of these reasons. In the following section, we will look at how a famous Indian was discriminated against. This will help us understand the way in which caste was used to discriminate against large number of people. On being discriminated against, the people are engaged in different kinds of work like teaching, carpentry, poetry, weaving, fishing, farming, etc. to earn livelihood. However, certain kinds of work are valued more than the than washing, cutting hair, more than the others. Activities like cleaning, washing, cutting hair, picking garbage are seen as a task that are less valued, and people who do not do this work are seen as dirty or impure. The belief is an important aspect of caste system. In the caste system, communities and group of people were placed in a sort of ladder where each caste were different above and below are the other. Those who placed themselves at the top of this ladder called themselves upper. A common stereotype about the Muslim is that they are not interested in educating girls and therefore do not send girls to school. However, its studies have now shown that poverty amongst Muslim is an important reason why Muslim girls do not attend school or drop out from school after a few years. Wherever effort has been made to reach education to the poor, there the Muslim community has shown in the interest in sending their girls to school. For example, in the state of Kerala, the distance between the school and the home is not much. There is a good government bus service that helps the teacher reach the school in rural areas, and over 60% of the teachers are women. These factors have helped children from poor families, including Muslim girls, and attend schools in such a large number. In other states where such efforts have not been made, children from poor families were Muslim, tribal or so-called lower caste, and it's difficult to attend school. Therefore, poverty, not religion, is the cause of non-attendance of Muslim girl in school. The caste and saw themselves as superior. The groups who were placed at the bottom of the ladder were seen as unworthy and are called untouchables. The caste rules were set which did not allow the so-called untouchables to take on work other than what they were meant to do. For example, some groups were forced to pick garbage and remove dead animals from the village, but they were not allowed to enter the homes of upper caste or take water from the village well, or even when temples. Their children could not sit next to the children of their castes of other castes in school. Thus, upper castes acted in way which did not give the so-called untouchables the same right as they enjoyed. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was one of the greatest leaders of India. Shared his first experience of caste-based discrimination, which took place in 1901. When he was just 9 years old, he had gone with his brother and cousins to meet his fathers in Goregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. Long did we wait, but not one turned up. An hour elapsed. The station master came to inquire. He asked us for our tickets. He showed them to him. He asked us why we are tarried. We told him that we were bound for Goregaon, and that we were waiting for the father or his servant to come, but that neither had turned up, and that we did not know how to reach Goregaon. We were well-dressed children. From our dress or talk, one could make out that we were children of untouchables. Indeed, the station master was quite sure we were Brahmin children. Was extremely touched at the light in which he found us. As is usual among the Hindus, the station master asked us who we were. Without a moment thought, I blurted out that we were Mahars. Mahar is one of the communities which were treated as untouchables in Bombay Presidency. He was stunned. His face. Dalit is a term that people belonging to so-called lower caste use and address themselves. They prefer this word to untouchables. Dalit means those who have been broken. This word, according to Dalit, shows how social prejudice and discrimination have broken the Dalit people. The government referred to this group of people as scheduled caste, SC. Being made to sit separately in the classroom because of one's background is a form of discrimination. And under when a certain change, we could see that he was overpowered by a strange feeling of repulsion. As soon as he heard my reply, he went over to his room and we stood where we were. 15 to 20 minutes elapsed. The sun was almost setting. Our father had not turned up, nor had he sent his servant. Now the station master had left us. We were quite bewildered, and the joy and happiness which we felt at the beginning of the journey gave the way to feeling of extremely sadness. After half an hour, the station master returned and asked us what we proposed to do. We said if we could get a block cart on hire, we could go to Koregaon. If was not very far, we would like to start straight away. Straight away. There were many block carts plying for hire, but we replied to the station master that we were Mahars had gone around among the cartmen, and not one of them was prepared to suffer being polluted and to deem in himself carrying passengers of the untouchable classes. We were prepared to pay double the fare, but we found that money did not work. The station master, who was negotiating on our behalf, stood silent, but not knowing what to do. Source: B.R. Ambedkar Writing and Speeches, Volume 12, edited Vasant Moon, Bombay Education Department, Government of Maharashtra. Dr. Bhim Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956, is considered the father of the Indian Constitution and is also the best known leader of the Dalits. Dr. Ambedkar fought for the rights of the Dalit community. He was born into Mahar caste, which was considered untouchables. The Mahar were poor and owned no land, and children born to them also had to do the work their parents did. They lived in spaces outside the main village and were not allowed into the villages. Dr. Ambedkar was the first person from his caste who completed his college education and went to England to become lawyer. He encouraged Dalits to send their children to schools and colleges. He also asked Dalits to take a different kind of government jobs in order to move out of the caste system. He led many efforts to Dalits to gain entry into temples. Later in life, he converted to Buddhism in his search for the religion that treated all members equally. Dr. Ambedkar believed that Dalits must fight the caste system and work towards a society based on respect, not just for few, but for all persons. Despite the children offering money, the cartmen refused them. Why? How did the people at the station master discriminate against Dr. Ambedkar and his brothers? How do you think Dr. Ambedkar felt as a child when he saw the station master reaction to the statement that they were Mahars? Have you ever experienced prejudice or witnessed an incident of discrimination? How did this make you feel? Imagine how difficult it would be if people could not move easily from one place to another. How insulting and hurtful it is to have people move away. They refuse to touch you and allow you to drink water from the same source as they do. The small incident shows how a small task of going from one place to another in a cart was not available to children even though they could pay the money. All the cartmen at the station refused to take the children. They acted in discriminatory manner. So clearly, as this story shows us, that caste-based discrimination is not only limited to preventing Dalits from undertaking certain economic activities, but it is also denies from the respect and dignity given to the others. Discussion: in the addition to the lower caste being discrimination against, there are also various other communities that are subject to discrimination. Can you think of few other examples of discrimination? Discuss the way in which person with special needs might to be subject to discrimination. Striving for equality. The struggle for freedom from British rule also included within. It is the struggle of large group of people who not only fought against the British but also fought to be treated more equally. Dalits, women, tribals and peasants fought against the inequalities they experienced in their lives. As pointed out earlier, many Dalits organized themselves to gain entry into temples. Women demanded that they should have a right to do education as men did. Peasants and tribals fought to release themselves from the grasp of the money lender and high interest they were charged. When India became a nation in 1947, our leaders too were concerned about the different kinds of inequalities that existed. Those who wrote the Constitution of India, a document that laid out the rules by which the nation would function, they were aware of the ways in which discrimination had been practiced in our society and how people had struggled against this. Many leaders of this struggle, such as Dr. Ambedkar, had also fought for the rights of the Dalits. So these leaders set out a vision and goals in the constitution to ensure that all the peoples of India were considered equal. This equality of all persons is seen as a key value that unites all us Indians. Everyone has equal rights and opportunities. Untouchability is seen as crime, had been legally abolished by law. People are free to choose the kind of work they wish to do. The government jobs are open to all people. In addition, the Constitution also placed responsibility on the government to take specific steps to realize this right to equality for poor and other such marginal communities. The writers of the Constitution also said that respect for diversity also was significant element in ensuring equality. They felt that people must have the freedom to follow their religions, speak their languages, celebrate their festivals, and express themselves freely. They said that no one language or religion or festivals should become compulsory for all to follow. They said that government must treat all religion equally. Therefore, India became a secular country where people of different religions and faiths have some of the members who wrote the Constitution of India. Faiths have the freedom to practice and follow their religion without any fear of discrimination. This is seen as an important element of our unity, that we all live together and respect one another. Though these ideas are enshrined in our Constitution, this chapter points out that inequality exists even today. Equality is a value that we keep striving for and got something which we happen automatically. People struggles, positive action by the government are necessary to make his reality for all Indians. This is the first page of Constitution that clearly states that all Indians are entitled to equality of states and opportunity. Preamble: we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status, of opportunity, and to prompt among them all. Fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt the enact and give ourselves this Constitution.